Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hello, folks. In this video, we are going to be essentially doing our 2024 predictions in a Biden versus Trump matchup, but this time using history, using Allan Lichtman's 13 keys. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gotten every election right using this tracker since 1984, with the exception of 2000, um, which he claims he got right with the whole Al Gore controversy, but he actually didn't. But anyways, basically, this is a pretty accurate tracker, no matter how you look at 2000, since it's got many elections right. And we were inspired to do this because of Red Eagle Politics
hmm
videos. Shout out to him. He did a video on his assessment of the 13 keys, and we think we can do our own assessment using our bipartisan power. So I guess we can
Yeah.
go into it. Um, a few of these are really like just really seriously easy to do. Especially 1, 2, 3. I think or 1 through 4, right? We can just easily do those 1 through
hmm
4, right? I guess should I start?
Yeah,
Or
sure. Go ahead.
all right. So for midterm gains, this first key is only satisfied. Actually, we should back up. I think we should explain again. Let's look down to the right. Biden needs 8 of these to be true for him to win, and Trump needs 6 for him to win. So 6
Yeah.
false for him to win. So all right, now we can get into it. So midterm gains, this first key is only satisfied if Biden gains in the House. The incumbent gains in the House in their midterms before the
hmm
presidential election. And obviously, the Republicans gained in the House. They actually gained control of the chamber from the Democrats. So this is going to be a certain false
Yes.
for the Republicans.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, while the midterms didn't go as good as Republicans expected, they still ended up gaining House seats, and that's what matters. So, yeah, in this case, Trump would gain a key in his favor. The second key is a little more interesting one. This is the no primary contest key. Um, so as of right now, I mean, I think personally, I'm between true or likely true. Biden doesn't really have any relevant Democrats running against him as of right now. He's polling in the high 60s. In comparison, all of his challengers, like Robert Kennedy Jr., are in like have like 15% or less. So he's going to pretty much, I think he's pretty much going to sweep, no matter how you slice it. Um, I did see that there was another Democratic House member weighing around. I think his name was Dean Phillips from Minnesota. Um, so I mean, we'll see if that turns out. If he does join, he would be joining pretty late, joining the primary field pretty late. And no matter what, Biden's still the incumbent, and he's still widely expected to just be the Democratic nominee no matter what. Yeah. So Alvin, what do you think? Do you think just like I think we could just put this likely or solid true? I mean, like,
Yeah.
what do you reckon?
So I actually looked at the betting odds for Biden. And we don't need to acknowledge Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, or Pete, or any of these other guys, because honestly, they're only there in case Biden passes away. So, the odds that Biden passes away, you can tell right now on the betting odds is about 32%. But the only relevant non-establishment Democrat that's running is Robert Kennedy Jr., who is at 8 cents, and I think that's enough to put this in safe. That's his only real challenger. Marianne Williamson is a joke. She doesn't even have a
She's,
contract.
she's not even there.
RFK, he's a joke candidate, but at least he gets in the headlines once or twice a month. Williamson, no. So I think, we don't even have to consider her, but this is definitely full true. I think the only way this becomes false is if Biden passes away or he's incapacitated, or those scenarios where he isn't running. And that's the same thing with key 3, because obviously
Yeah.
seeking re-election. The only
hmm
way this isn't true is if he passes away, etc. Now, third party is something that I guess we could touch on, but it's pretty much no third party, because we see here, there's one kind of, third party, which is Cornel West from the Green Party.
Mm-hmm.
And the Green Party hurts Democrats because they're even farther left of the Democratic Party. They're called the Green Party because they're pro-environment generally. And, they do siphon votes from Democrats much more than they do from Republicans. Now, he's not really a strong third party, though. Usually the determinant for this key is if the third party can manage to get 5% nationally, which is then a strong third party. And I really don't see Cornel West being able to get that. He has no name recognition yet. He's not, he's
Yeah.
not Gary Johnson, right? He has absolutely no name rec. He has no headlines. No one really knows he's even running. I only found out when I started planning for this video. So let's be real.
Yeah. In the case of Gary Johnson in 2016, which did end up checking that box of a strong third party candidate, Gary Johnson was a former governor, and Cornel West doesn't really have like elected status at any point. So I doubt he'd get up to 5%. What I think is more of a threat to Biden here is if someone like Joe Manchin or some more liberal, or more moderate rather, Republican governor like Larry Hogan runs, then they might that could pose a strong third party challenge. I think I could see like someone like Joe Manchin like running on the no labels party and getting 5% or higher. So I don't know. I think I want to put this in likely
Okay.
true. It's not like a certainty yet. But I think it's kind of, as of right now, it's looking like Biden will be all right. There's not going to be, and there usually isn't that strong of a third party
All right.
challenge. Yeah.
Now, I think we should skip to a few more that just, we can easily knock off. I think 12 and 13 we can just easily do before we touch on the more complicated ones, right? So,
Mhm.
charismatic incumbent, I think this was certainly false. Biden is just not charismatic,
Yeah.
and I think everyone can recognize that. Even if you are Biden's wife, he's not charismatic. And I'm sorry if you're Joe Biden. But uncharismatic challenger here, I think, is also likely true. I think Trump is charismatic practically only to his base. He doesn't have that national charisma, let's say JFK had, let's say Ronald Reagan had, let's say even maybe Obama had, right? He just doesn't have that. And honestly, I think we could give this one a likely true.
I think we can give it a full true, in fact.
Full
Like,
true?
yeah, because like I mean, Trump doesn't appeal to a wide swath of people. He appeals to his base. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like it's like Biden and Trump both have like what, like 40% or lower favorability ratings. Like, yeah, it's not great. These aren't like I believe like when I hear Allan Lichtman talking about these last two keys, he's referring to people with like wide bases of support who are capable of winning people all across the country, like Ronald Reagan, for example, who basically won every state. Biden and Trump are two people who certainly cannot pull off something like that. Like they both have their own respective like cults that like kind of follow them.
I
And
don't know if
yeah.
Biden has a cult.
Yeah,
He's
but
kind
I mean
of,
that's a weird way of putting it, but Biden has
yeah.
his base rather. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
mhm.
All right, now we can look into the economics, the social unrest, and the foreign policy.
Yep.
Sorry. All right, let's go into the economy first. Now, this first economic key touches on recession at the time of election. Now, a recession is defined as 2 consecutive negative GDP quarters. That's the definition economically of a recession, no matter who tells you otherwise. And so we can look here a few obvious recessions. We have the Great Recession of 08, we have the recession of COVID, we have the mini recession in 21, 22. But here there is no recession right now at all. There's pretty good economic growth, honestly. 2 to 3% is pretty healthy for America. And this was our great economic period. Our late Obama, early Trump period was our great economic period before COVID, and we're pretty much matching that right now. Now, it doesn't really feel like that because inflation is pretty bad still, and you kind of still see those grocery prices going up every time I visit the grocery store. everything goes up 10 cents, it feels like. But the definition is for recession here. And so this is probably like lean true. I think it's more likely that there's no recession than there is.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I think the economic indicators are largely going in Biden's favor right now. Um, the like inflation is slowing down significantly. Yeah, I think we're almost at the Fed's 2% goal. And once we reach there, the Fed's going to going to likely stop raising rates. So, and once they stop doing that, the risk of a recession just I think essentially dissipates. So and it looks like as of right now, it looks like we're on track to do that. And even the Fed acknowledged, like in the last time it raised rates, that the likelihood of a recession is significantly lower than it was previously. So I think that's pretty good news for Biden, and it's pretty good news for our economy. But yeah, I think right now, but it's not a certainty yet because we still haven't. Inflation still hasn't gotten completely where it needs to be. But yeah, I think as of right now, we could put this in lean.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Lean blue. All right. I guess we go to strong long term. Now, strong long term is different. This one is defined by real gross domestic product per capita. Now, GDP per capita is really kind of like growth of how many goods and services are sold within the country per person. So, you take
Yeah.
all the value of every single good, every final good service, everything like that, and you kind of divide it by the population of the country. And that's how you get GDP per capita. And right now, our GDP per capita is around 60K, which is pretty good. Very good for a global scale. Pretty good for the Western world. Now, you basically look at this and you look at the past two terms. So that's going to be the second Obama term and the first Trump term, the only Trump term. Now, you kind of look at the Biden term and you see if Biden will hit the same growth that the past two terms got. If it does, then that's going to be a true. If he doesn't, that's a false. So you want to look into it, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, so essentially what we calculated here is that there was a roughly, I think, what was it, 5.5 K GDP per capita growth between Obama's second term and at the end of Trump's first term. As of right now, how much growth has Biden had, Alvin? Like
So we're gonna go from 58K to 3K around.
Yeah, so around
3K.
3K. I mean, 3K, and he still has a year and a half, basically a year to go. Yeah, I think the way we're looking at it is right now, Biden's not really where he has to be to meet that level of growth, to meet Allan Lichtman's requirements. I mean, if the economy does avoid a recession and the GDP does keep going up at a good rate, then maybe he can make it. But yeah, right now it's a little iffy.
Yeah, right now it's probably lean false, I think I would say.
Yeah, we're still
Yeah.
recovering from inflation. GDP's like with the Fed still raising rates. GDP's not going to be as fast as it's going to be going up, but not as fast as it could be going up. So yeah,
Correct.
what we're going to see.
Yeah, Biden
Yeah.
really needs to, because the problem with Biden right now is he had really good terms before him. Obama's second term and Trump's first term, other than COVID, was really strong in terms of
Yeah.
economic growth. Now, to compete with that, you really have to step on the gas, and he's doing a decent job in terms of GDP growth. Obviously, his biggest weakness, as we all know, was the inflation, but the GDP growth has been strong, especially because you're recovering from COVID, and so you have that advantage of that. Everyone's going back into tourism, etc., and you have that kind of have that advantage. But he's still not there, and he's got to kind of step on the gas. I will say. Want to go major policy change?
Yeah, so major policy change, I actually think I would say it to be true. Seeing as like in the past, Allan Lichtman has said Obamacare going into Biden's second term was a major policy change. He said Trump's tax changes were a major policy change. So I think we could certainly count the Inflation Reduction Act as a major policy change. It's severely it's going to boost our investment in clean energy. help with medical costs. So it is really just like um all positive on that front. I would say. I think definitely um we could say he got a major policy thing done.
Well, I would say, Lichtman says he got a major policy change done, so I'll give it to him. Maybe likely true, maybe full true. But I would say his quote major policy change is nowhere as big as the past. It's not like Obamacare. It's not like Obamacare, right? It's not as big as that. Um, and I think that he gave the whole Trump like tax cuts or whatever a major policy change. So I guess, but like Biden has been really stagnant. I will say he hasn't really done much since the IRA, of course, because of the Republicans
Yeah.
taking the House, and you can't really do anything past that point. But I guess he got, if Lichtman gives it to him, I'll give it to him for now.
Yeah. I mean,
And
he is the
Biden, yeah,
professor. I mean,
Biden does have 6, and Trump has 3, so they're both Trump's 3 away, Biden's 2 away. All right, no social unrest, probably likely true.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, when Trump got his social unrest from the BLM movement and from COVID-19, I mean, that was kind of all that was kind of caused due to the pandemic. And, I feel like it's a kind of rare situation. It's not impossible, but, for me, I think it's going to be kind of rare.
Yep. All right, let's continue. No scandal. This is another probably likely true. He doesn't really have any major scandal right now. Now, the Republicans have this whole Hunter Biden thing, but if anything, the media isn't really reporting on it. And the public haven't really lost trust in Biden, especially the Democrats. Really, a scandal has to completely destroy your party's loyalty. The opposing party already hates you. Trump's whole Ukraine call, it didn't really do anything to him. Because his party just didn't really care. Now, a scandal's got to destroy the party's credibility. For example, the Watergate scandal completely destroyed even Republicans' trust in Nixon. Right? That's how a scandal really destroys the president. Hunter Biden isn't really affecting Biden, just as the Trump whole Ukraine, quid pro quo thing didn't really affect him. So I think this is just true.
Yeah, I don't think the Hunter Biden thing is going to go too far. Because like yeah, Republicans still have a long way to go in connecting Hunter Biden's dealings with the president Joe Biden. So I mean, yeah, I feel like they still have a while to go. And seeing as, all these claims of like a sweetheart deal and so on has all been kind of made by a Trump appointed prosecutor that Biden's administration kept on. Any like claims of like wrongdoing within the administration are like already kind of, you could already put some skepticism on that. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's going the best for the Republicans trying to push a scandal on Biden right now.
Yeah. Now, I guess we can go to no foreign military failure. Now, I would probably say this is false. Afghanistan probably counts as no foreign as a failure. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Allan Lichtman here, like, I mean, on the side panel, it says he wouldn't really count Afghanistan as a failure because it's not really mentioned in the public eye. But on the in in the media as much anymore, it's kind of like fallen out as something that's brought up regularly. But
Mhm.
something that I will say is when we get into a presidential election, I feel like that's something that can be brought up a lot.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know. I still
could be a
I
lean,
I I think we could still put that up as a false. Yeah,
a
like
lean
lean maybe
false,
even likely because I mean, yeah,
likely.
it was bad optics. It still looks really bad for Biden.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever you think's best, but yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
maybe just a lean. I think just because Lichtman says otherwise, but we think one way. Lean is probably fair. Now, the foreign success, you can already see that Biden wins, so it doesn't really matter what we put here. Now, I guess some people would consider Ukraine a success for him. I don't know because I guess he did help Ukraine, force a stalemate with the Russians, but isn't really a success. Maybe you would
I
consider
think
it a
that definitely is a
success, but
success. I mean, when
yeah.
you look at the fact that Ukraine was expected to fall in like a week, and we both united a once kind of disunited NATO after the Trump administration. We added 2 new members to NATO, and Ukraine is now holding strong against what like essentially a superpower. I mean,
Used to be a superpower.
I feel like that could be counted as a win. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's fair. What should we put here?
I mean,
Which color?
Lichtman says likely. I think yeah, I think it could be likely seen as a win. Yeah.
Could be likely. Yeah. So Biden has some room. He's at 9-4 right now. Obviously Trump needs 7-3, 7-6 for him to win. And it's gonna be tough for him. Obviously a recession could always come.
Yeah.
And you could flip that one. And maybe Ukraine falls and you flip 11. Or Hunter Biden falls for the Democrats, you flip that, or
Yeah.
there's some protests, flip that.
I mean, yeah, we are still like Lichtman usually makes his predictions like right before the election. We're still a long way away from the election. So we don't know. Maybe the economy does dip into recession. That could flip for Trump. Maybe the Biden is connected to what to Hunter Biden's scandals, and that flips as well. Like there's definitely still paths for Trump here. Just as of right now, looking forward, it looks like Biden is favored in Lichtman's tracker.
Yep. All right. So that's pretty much it for us. 9-4 in our opinion. And we did deviate with Lichtman just a little bit. But yeah, we did our own analysis. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like the video, comment down below to help us with the algorithm, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Yeah, and make sure to share with your friends. More 2024 content is on the way, of course. And remember, we got this unique bipartisan content. So yeah, please support us.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
See ya.